أخي صبرا على ألم الفراق.
The scholars of Islam, they say, it is a fardu kifaya. It is an obligation that is incumbent upon the whole of the Muslim Ummah until the prisoners are set free. And if it is not done to a sufficient level, then it is a sin that is on the shoulder of every single Muslim male and female. And one of the reasons we support cage prisoners is because they are one of the few organizations that are doing what they can to fulfill that obligation, to remove the sin from my shoulders, from your shoulders, and your shoulders, and your shoulders. So they have a right. They have a right to ask for our sadaqah. They have a right to ask for our zakah, to fulfill this Islamic obligation and duty. And I will finish with a hadith while we are all gathered here today. Like we are gathered here today, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he also gathered his Sahaba. In a hadith, it is said that it was in the middle of the day, and a group of people came to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and their clothes were tattered and torn. They were dusty and disheveled, and they were destitute. And most of them were from the tribe of Mudar. So the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he saw them, and his face changed, and he became saddened because he saw their dire situation. And then he went into his house, and he came out and he ordered Bilal radiallahu anhu to make adhan. And he made adhan, and he prayed, and he gave a khutbah. And in the khutbah he said, tasaddaq, that every person here gives sadaqah. Min dinarihi, min dirhamihi, min thawbihi, min sa'i burrihi, min sa'i tamarihi. Let every single person give from their dinar, from their dirham, from the clothes that they are wearing, from the wheat, from dates. Hatta qal walaw bi shaqqi tamara. Even if it is with half a date, let him give. And the hadith continues. فجاء رجل من الأنصار بسرة كادت كفه تعجز عنها بل قد عجزت. And the man came with a large pouch in his hands, and he could barely hold it. And then after him followed more people, and they came with more things and more items, until there were piles of food and piles of clothes. And then the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his face became like. And then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said his famous hadith: "Man sanna fil Islami sunnatan hasana, falahu ajruha wa ajru man amila biha ba'dah, min ghayri an yanqus min ujurihim shay." Any person that initiates in Islam a good deed, then he will have the reward of that good deed, as well as the reward of all the other people that followed him in that good deed. So the first person who came like this to give the food, he will have the reward of all those people that followed him afterwards. He will have the reward of that. And so I say today, when we begin to make the pledges, ensure that you are the first person to put your hand up. Because you will have the ajr, the reward of all those people who will put their hands up after you. Don't hesitate. Be the first to put your hand up. And remember, whatever you give, this is what stays with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whatever you keep in your pockets, this is what will go. Like the hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha, and we'll finish with this. When someone came to her with a sheep, and then some poor people came, and she began to give from the sheep a bit of leg from different parts of the sheep she gave away. And she was only left with the shoulder bone. And the Prophet Muhammad inquired, "Oh Aisha, what is it that you gave away and what is it that you kept?" And she said, "I gave away all of the sheep to the poor people and I just kept the shoulder blade." And the Prophet said, "No, rather, you have given away the shoulder blade, meaning it's gone. It's not going to be for you in the hereafter. And you have kept for you as reward all the sheep that you gave away." جزاكم الله خير. أقول قولي هذا استغفر الله لكم.